Welcome to another edition of the eSpot with Camille. The eSpot is your location for the latest in entertainment, beauty, and design from the people who... Hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of the eSpot with Camille. I'm your host, Camille Kauer, and today I am so super excited because you know that saying that summer bodies are made in the winter? It's spring and we're late, so I can't wait for you guys to talk to these wonderful women designers who are changing the game as far as swimwear goes. So let's hear a little bit from Sandra and Mia, the creators and the founders of Sasha Swim. So tell me, how did you guys get started with Sasha Swim?
Great question. I feel like there's so many different reasons of why we launched this, but it started in 2018. Mia and I wanted to start a business together. Our dad was really entrepreneurial his whole life, doing different ventures, and that really just instilled into Mia and I. And unfortunately, we lost him very suddenly in 2019. And we thought how beautiful it would be to create a legacy for our dad and name the business after him. That's why it's called Sasha Swim. His first name was Sasha, but everything travel and adventure we tied to our memories with our father, and we just wanted to create this entity that is evergreen and everlasting connection to him. But we love fashion, we love beauty, we have such a creative background in both of those. We wanted to make a beautiful harmony of a business and start swimwear and create pieces that you don't really see in the market, trendy cool pieces that are unique to who we are. Yeah. And he was an entrepreneur. He always pushed us to be the best versions of ourselves, get out there, be successful, and just kick ass. Now, we launched Sasha Swim. And I think something, Camille, that's really important about our brand and our brand identity is that everything that we launch mimics our life phases and every single path that we take. If you take a look at what we've done before, we did a bridal launch when Mia was a bride. We're now doing maternity and nursing while Mia is venturing into motherhood. So honestly, it's following Mia's life, but I'm following suit afterwards. And it's something that's really near and dear to us. And it helps us feel obviously connected. Our father can't be here, but to us, building this brand and legacy in his name, we know that we're somehow connected because he's seeing all these phases even while he's not here. So really special to us.
Now, with working with family, how did you guys define who's in charge of what, who does what? Like, even just now knowing who tells the story of the brand, like, how did you guys decide who had the strengths in what and whose strengths were in the other areas?
My sister is the CEO of the brand, I would say, and I am her employee. But no, in all seriousness, like truly, she is the mastermind behind our go to live strategy, our marketing campaigns behind the scenes, and really just like the vision of how do we bring this product to life and bring it to our consumers. I am definitely way more behind the scenes. So I am your finance girly. I am all things Excel. I am the one who says not in the budget or in the budget, and definitely saying
Yeah,
not in the budget a lot more times than in the budget.
important role.
Yes. So I would definitely say we play to each of our strengths. I have the business marketing background, but for whatever reason, I didn't pick up the marketing strength, and my sister did with her communications background. So I stick more to the operational financial side, and then she's definitely more the creative and really just, again, true CEO.
You're
Now,
so
I have to
funny.
ask, since you guys are sisters, is there how do you guys handle when there is a disagreement or when you guys don't see eye to eye? Do you run to mom to help you guys work it out, or do you find you have a way of, okay, this is my area, I make the final decision on this?
That's a great question. To our mom, God bless her, she is the best. She raised us so amazing. And as kids, I'll tell a funny story. When we would argue, there was no room for arguing. Like you had to be friends, non-negotiable in the house. And even when you were so mad at each other, we'd have to touch fingers. I don't know if you've ever done that with somebody that you're upset with. It is the funniest thing and just starts making you die of laughter when you have to touch somebody's fingers and look them in the eye when you're so upset with them. So if we were to run to her right now, I know she would tell us, Meaty, touch fingers, get it over with, and be done. But I think when we have disagreements, and Mia, you can obviously chat with us about this too. Obviously, there's an aspect where we're sisters, where we're like, let's get through this. But ultimately, I think we know our strengths and we really lean on each other. If it's a disagreement about how to go to live with something, the imagery and what we're deciding to do, Mia's like, I maybe don't like it this way, but I really trust you and I really am gonna lean on you here. If that's what you think is gonna do well, let's run with it. Logistics, oof, over my head. But if I have an opinion and I'm like, listen, Mia, I don't know if it's going to work. Again, I think it has a lot to do with trust. I really lean on her and I'm like, this is where your area of expertise is. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. Yes, there might be some friction, but in the end, it's just trusting and leaning on each other. We both want the best for the brand. So we tackle it on that way.
Now, you built this brand that's evolving around the stages. You mentioned about when Mia was going through her wedding, you did the wedding view, and now she's starting in motherhood. So I'm curious, like, where do you see this brand going next?
Great question.
Yeah, I think we really want to take this brand to be an actual like fashion brand is I think what our vision is eventually. And like expanding within the swimwear brand is I think going to be our bread and butter. Just like even to the point where I have a younger, he's a boy, so a son, and matching mini me outfits, family outfits, but really where I'm like looking at this brand and where Sandra and I have talked about it is we want to continue to penetrate within swimwear because we think within Canada specifically, there's not that many players in the last couple of years. A lot of people have exited out of the industry because there's more margin in athletic wear, etc. We think that there's a really good opportunity for us to take a good stance within the Canadian manufacturing era of specific swimwear. That being said, though, entering into jewelry, entering into athletics is definitely an area that we've talked about. We haven't solidified that 5 to 10 year game plan yet because I think we have so many ideas. And so we're just really just laying it all out and then fundamentally figuring out what is logistically possible from a budget standpoint, et cetera. Lots of cool ideas on the forefront, but I think just to simply put it is we want to be a fashion brand and known as a fashion brand, whatever facet that may be.
I also think just to add on to that, Mia, we're in our like exploratory phase right now. We are designing things that we can't find in the market and we're making them for our consumer. And I think that we've seen that really readily with the nursing compatible swimwear right now. And we're getting user feedback and suggestions of, oh, you should do this next time, or let's expand this way. I think there's a lot of areas that we can go. But to Mia's point, we want to be a fashion brand. We want to grow within swimwear. We want to do resort wear, maybe some other things down the line. But right now we're totally in our baby exploratory phase, but nothing's off the table.
Yeah, no, I noticed that you guys mentioned that you're really trying to make sure that it's style, functionality, and inclusive. Like, how do you go about figuring out how to make sure that each swimsuit works for every body type or the different concerns I think a lot of moms go through after having their children, even is like feeling that confidence again in a two piece or even a one piece for that matter when it comes to the beach and still being able to run after the kids or pick them up without worry of spillage for a nice way to put it.
Totally.
So how do you guys handle all of that, figuring it out? I'm assuming Mia, sometimes you have to test out the products.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I would say that's the core of it. I think like we are two females going through it at that same time. Now, both of us actually don't have children right now that are nursing. And so we had to lean a lot on our close friends and family.
Our family,
that actually went on vacation and took these sample suits that we've created. And this is like version literally 50 of the original version we created 3-4 years ago. And I think that's really important. It's the sampling phase is a lot of companies will just maybe not even sample and go to market and then see how it does. And there's benefits to both types of strategies, but where we found a lot of success, specifically in the functionality of the nursing suit, is we had to make sure that the clip didn't undo when you were walking and running after your toddler if you had one, and almost trying to envision these real life scenarios that would actually happen.
Yeah.
It was really important for us, but that's just step one is if we create this idea in our head of, okay, this is what we want to do and this is the gap in the market. The next phase is you got to actually put it out to market and see how it does with real life moms. And I think that's really where we saw a lot of success with just perfecting. And even you would ask Sandra and I, we're perfectionists. We're probably like, oh, we could still fix this one little thing here. But at some point, we're going to have to say, okay, Tess, everything's checking off. Everything's going well. Now let's go to market. And now let's collect feedback from our consumers that are buying it and trying it.
Yeah, I think, sorry to cut you off, Camille. I think research and development is important because they give you the feedback that you need in order to make it better. And to answer your question, like in order to make it work for every mom, not just them, right? There's different body types, there's different breast sizes when you're nursing, like whether you're pregnant or afterwards, obviously that looks a little bit different. So really bringing it to market, having them test and give feedback. And that's, to Mia's point, version 50, we have sampled this so many times. If we were to show you the first one that we ever did compared to where we are today, like I'm so proud of it. But it took a lot of just putting it out there and using it and making sure that real women are trying this and telling us what works and what doesn't.
Now, that's a good point. So, with your doing all of this with getting real life market research from real moms, what's been some of the most rewarding responses you've gotten from some of those people that tested, or even clients for that matter?
They are so appreciative that they have the functionality to nurse or pump or whatever obviously their feeding situation is on the spot. I think the biggest thing that we've learned throughout this is the most valuable thing in life that we have is time. And when you are spending money and going on a vacation and with your loved ones, then you have to excuse yourself to go feed for 20, 30 minutes, you're missing out on that time with everybody else. And I don't know, it brings you to tears, right? To think about that you've given a mom this ability to stay with her friends, family, loved ones, and do something that nature, so that you're meant to do. Why would you have to go and hide in the corner and excuse yourself for a feeding? So I think that's maybe one of the biggest like aha moments for us. Of like we gave moms time back, and we made them cute while we were doing it, right? We didn't want to make it something that they had to just purchase because they were in that phase of their life. We want them to like these pieces and use them throughout. They just happen to have a functionality that can help them in their current season of feeding.
Now, so when you're finding these holes, these gaps, has there been something recently that you're just like, okay, I'm so excited about this product because it'll help this certain person? Not always moms, but just in general. Has there been something that you're just like, as far as filling those gaps, that just really surprised you that was even a gap?
Yeah, I could say I think motherhood is sexy. And I think that's really just the tagline of what we wanted to do here is it doesn't have to be you feeling super insecure about how your body has changed, which you go through a lot of changes through pregnancy, after pregnancy. And I think you evolve as a person and you evolve with what you wear and how you dress, but there's also this element where it can still feel like you're yourself. And I know that there's this like trend going on and it's I didn't lose my pink. It's That's really what we were leaning into is you don't have to lose yourself in the process of this the most beautiful time, of creation. And I think that's really the area that we wanted to penetrate from that gap is just motherhood can still be sexy and it is sexy.
Yeah. Amen.
Totally agree. And I was a nursing mom, and I admit, like, finding the right swimsuits was impossible because you fluctuate so much between feedings, even not necessarily just before and after breastfeeding, but even they would make tank tops where they had the clips, but I didn't remember. It was so long ago. My daughter's 16, but I don't remember there being swimsuits. And of course, a lot of the back, you don't want to nurse your kid in the bathroom. Who wants to eat in the bathroom
No,
anyway? So
no.
it's like, why should you have to leave while everybody else is eating as well? I wasn't that mom because I was like, I grew up abroad, so I was used to topless beaches. So I was like, enjoy the show, guys, because I'm not going anywhere.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I'm glad that this need is being filled, but it was also like, oh wait, did I have that option? I don't think I did. So
No,
I'm
we're
really
actually
glad that you
first to
guys
market
are
in
bringing that.
North
Oh, you
America.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. Now, I also have to ask because things have changed so much here in America, and I don't know exactly where you guys get all your products from or any of that, but has the new like tariffs policy that's sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off, sometimes it's on this side, sometimes it's on that side. Has that changed anything for your business lately, or has it not been an issue yet?
Not as of right now, and Mia, I don't know if you wanna jump in on here, but we don't have that big of an American market, which we're thankful for, but also not thankful for because obviously there's a lot of people in the US, we wanna penetrate it. I think as a baby brand, that's something that we might have to learn and figure out before we tap into it, but we are Canadian-based. Our manufacturing doesn't come from the US, so that's not something that we're getting faced with as of right now, but a little bit worried, if I am being completely honest, of what it'll look like landscape in the future if things were to really go full force. But as of right now, we're not affected, so we don't have anything really, right, Mia?
Yeah, for sure. I
Behind
think
logistics.
Yeah, for sure. I think right now it's been unaffected, but we're definitely like watching what the decision's officially going to be and how that's going to impact small businesses. Obviously, they have gone back and forth, I think, with some of the tariff like conversations of what's the percentage going to be and who is it actually going to impact. And but it will definitely have an impact on us eventually. It's just what's the magnitude of the impact. And I think the coolest part about it is because we are so small and we are quite flexible, like whatever that decision is and whatever that ends up being and the impact, we can easily and flexibly move with that. So
Now, I'm curious also for, I guess, other people who may be interested in getting into starting their own business. What advice or tips would you give that maybe from learning the hard way or even something that was really beneficial for you that you would share for other people who are looking at getting into design or
We have so many
manufacturing?
of these. Mia and I were even like talking about this just so recently. And she even said it during this session. She was like, we did 50 versions before we went to market. There's pros and cons to that. If you were to talk to a business guru, they would say launch, even if it's not perfect, and figure it out as you go. I
Mm.
think that's something that we are trying to adapt moving forward, but starting at the beginning and joining a market where we want to stand out and we want to have really good products. I think something that was challenging for us was knowing when to stop the sampling and knowing when to just go to market. And I think that you can go down like a rabbit hole of perfectionism, and that can be really tolling on your in your company because we said we thought of this in 2018 and we went to market in 2022. That's a lot of years in between. That's a lot of humming and hawing, a lot of ruminating of is this good? Is it not good? I think what you can do, the best thing you can do for yourself if you're starting a business is sample a few times. Once you pick, hey, this is what I really feel good about, get it out to market to friends and family as quick as possible, get user feedback, and then just launch. And to everybody else's point, launch, even if there are some issues, your consumers and your community will give you that feedback to help you grow, change, and evolve. So that would be like my biggest tip if you are starting a business and what you can do to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit quicker.
Okay. Now, Mia, do you have anything to add to that as well?
the only thing I will add is just also like really lean into the feedback. I think that's important is as you're growing, you don't know what's going to land and what some of our best selling pieces were pieces that maybe Sandra and I were like, we don't know if it's going to land. Like we love it, but let's see. And so I think leaning into the feedback and then being flexible to my point on the tariff conversation and adjusting is always like really important.
Yeah. Now, so I heard you guys say like one is more creative, one's more of the logistics of it all. When it comes to designing the swimsuits, who's actually the one that makes up the ideas of like who actually draws it, who's actually figuring out the textures, the products, the colors? How do you guys go about that?
Yeah, I'll let
Interesting.
you answer because
Yeah,
this is funny. You'll laugh.
yeah. So this is funny. I am actually the one that draws the suits and creates the idea. Sandra then once I create that like idea, then she then goes and makes it happen with just the fabrics and the texture and then the campaign. So as much as
Mhm.
I guess I am logistics, I also
You're creative.
am very creative. But
Yeah.
I like to give you the credit for the creativeness because I think that you are next level creation at some point.
Mia's also a visionary. Like she will think of things that are really trendy and cool 2 years before everybody else thinks that they're cool. So we've had some suits that we've launched that maybe we're doing okay when we launched them, but now 2 years later, everybody's loving them. So kudos to you. I don't know what you got going on up there, but you got to give me some of that. I love it.
No, that's great because sometimes being a mom, you can't always buy things on season. You buy it when you need it type of thing. So having
Yes.
something that lasts, that's timeless, so it's not something that you can only be like trendy, so to speak. I like that your pieces are very classic. There's not a lot of patterns and different things going on where like you said, like you could be matchy with your kids and coordinate so on with your family because a lot of people do like beach photos or
Mhm.
nowadays, where do you go that you don't get your photo taken with the, like with social media and so on and just wanting to document that time with your family as well. So I'm excited to hear more about what you guys are going to do in the future and keep up with your growth as well. So tell everyone where they can keep up with Sasha Swim. I almost said it wrong. Oh, I was doing so well. Tell everyone how they can keep up with Sasha Swim as well as you ladies.
Yes. So everyone says Sasa, so don't worry. I think it's one of those cute little things. We're like Hermes. When people say Hermes and it's wrong, let's roll with that. It's Sasha. Where you can keep up with us, Instagram, Sasha Swim, Sasa Swim. We're also on TikTok. We're not really big there, but you can follow us anywhere. Sasha Swim Shop. And then obviously our website is www.sashaswim.com.
So that makes total sense. All right. Again, it was so nice meeting both of you ladies, and I'm excited to see what comes next. And if you guys have any other product launches, please come back. Love to hear what comes next at Sasha Swim. And everybody, make sure you tune in next week. Again, we're going to have some more guests on the eSpot every Thursday, a new episode. So make sure you're tuning in at the eSpot. And you can always follow me on CamilleKauer.com, and all my socials are there. And thanks again for tuning in. And if you like this episode, make sure you like, share with a friend or some few.
Thanks, everyone.